This is very good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is fun.
What goes into crafting the instruments that fill our world with music?
And you covered the holes, man. You did. You got the low G there as well.
Welcome to The Instrument Makers, a new YouTube series where we visit diverse instrument workshops.
Oh, this blade's not very sharp. That's very annoying.
Explore the artistry and techniques of master craftsmen.
I'm going to credit this. This is David's upgrade.
And share the fascinating stories and insights we discover along the way.
Want to try it?
Today we travel to Budapest, Hungary, where a young couple is reviving ancient musical history, one rare instrument at a time. At the Großmüller Woodwind Workshop, Márton and Csenge are not just repairing instruments, they're breathing life into sounds that haven't been heard for centuries. Join me as I uncover how this remarkable duo is preserving musical traditions most people have never even imagined existed.
So I am Márton and Csenge. She's my colleague Csenge Molnár.
Hello.
We're in the heart of Budapest. Yep, it's our woodwind workshop. We are a woodwind making and repair workshop. We work mostly on modern instruments, also some more historical ones, and we also make early music instruments from Renaissance, Baroque, etc. We're both from Budapest. I mean, technically she's from Végescsaba.
2013-ban költöztem Budapestre az iskola miatt, és az iskolában találkoztunk Marcival, és 2019 körül kezdtünk közösen dolgozni.
It's kind of a blurry story because I have been working before, but officially together we started it around 2018 or 19.
Én általános iskolában fagottozni tanultam, és aztán a szakközépiskolát énekesként végeztem, magánénekesként, és ez egy ilyen érdekes visszatérés az életembe így a fafúvósokhoz és a fagottokhoz.
For me, I don't really have an official musical background. I started playing the guitar around when I was around 15 or so. With some friends, we wanted to make a metal band. I'm still a huge metalhead. And we wanted to make a metal band with early music instruments because I liked Renaissance and Baroque music back then too. And we needed someone to actually play those instruments because everyone played the guitar or the bass. So I started playing the recorder and well, now here I am.
Okay.
I guess it really sucked me in. I also, when I was in the school for instrument making, they said that you should probably play an instrument a bit more serious than the recorder, which is okay, another question, but and I started to play the bassoon as well because I really like the sound and the look.
What led both of you to go into the instrument school? Is that instrument making school? Is this here in Budapest?
Yes.
Okay.
When we started, at least when I started, I think when you started too, it was a separate school. Now it's part of a musical high school, where aside of instrument players and singers, they also train technicians. Ever since I began playing the recorder, I was interested in other historical woodwinds. And these are not instruments you walk into a store and buy. You don't really find a shawm or a bagpipe or something like that. And I was really interested in making them. My uncle, he used to be a carpenter. And I asked him if he could help me with that, and he said, no. Music instrument making it's magic. No one can do that. It's very difficult. So I went to the school where I learned nothing about instrument making, really. We mostly learned repair. I learned the basics here, and even through repair you learn a lot because you have to sometimes replace parts and everything. So I learned how to use lathe and this kind of stuff. So that's why I went there.
Amikor énekes voltam, és már úgy alakult az élet, hogy ki kellett találni, hogy mit csináljak a továbbiakban, így jó ötletnek találtam, mivel én is hangszeren játszottam, milyen jó dolog lenne hangszereket tudni javítani.
How long was the program? How many years?
It's 3 years.
3 years.
3 years for me. They changed it when Csenge began school, just a year after I started.
No.
And for me it was 3 years. For her it was 2 plus 1.
2 plus 1 sounds
Yes.
like
So yes, but you made 2 years, got 1 paper, and if you made additional 1 year, you receive the same paper I have. It's a bit complex because of some government policies they had to change.
How many people are in this program?
Not so many now. When I started school, we were 8 people in the class, of which 6 finished the school. 3 brass, I think, and 3 woodwind instrument makers. But now there are not many students.
Gotcha.
And from my class, I think maybe only 2 of us actually work in the field.
What happens to the others typically?
They become IT guys.
Nekem volt egy kis kitérőm. Én elvégeztem a Magyar Nemzeti Múzeum műtárgyvédelmi asszisztens képzését, és innen is jön az érdeklődésem így a műtárgykorú hangszerek iránt.
She learned a lot of techniques that we don't learn in school because we are mostly focused on modern instruments that are relatively easy to work with compared to like if you check our YouTube channel, we work on some 200-year-old instruments, and so which require a very different approach. And she studied that kind of approach, which we are not really. I mean, many colleagues treat these instruments the same way modern ones, and you can't really do that.
What made you come back to instruments?
For me, I always wanted to be a maker and not just a repairman. From the beginning of our workshop and my career after studies, I try to accept works that required a bit more creativity. Also, we build a workshop so that we can so we are equipped to do jobs no other workshop really is, or very few. I won't say no other, but very few in Hungary. And we made accessories, new parts, and we were approached by a Hungarian gentleman who wanted to make a flute joint with a deeper like to G or something.
Oh, wow.
And many before us worked on it, and we worked on it too. And the flutist said that we were the best.
Oh.
We did the best additions to this
Wooden
piece.
flute or metal flute?
It's a metal flute.
Okay.
And I wouldn't really show it off. I mean, I'm not very proud of that, but we worked on a very limited time and resources. And afterwards, we were approached by the Hungarian Museum of Fine Arts to make them an Aulos. It's an ancient Greek instrument. And we did that, and yeah, afterwards just some projects just came for these instruments because others said that, hey, these guys did it, and so. And now we started also to make instruments that we just make for fun, for ourselves. We also sometimes make film props. This year we have made 2, which are really just historic optics, but don't really work. We are not really allowed to speak of the actual productions.
Oh, okay.
But not just Hungarian, but foreign studios as well, because here in Hungary there is quite a lot of foreign movies made, and sometimes they approach us if we can either get them something or make them something. And usually these instruments, for example, last time we were asked for 2 classical basset horns, and we just can't really take off the shelves. Yeah, here's 2, so we had to make those. And we try to make them as close to playable as possible, because if we put in the work, we want it so that...
maybe you can sell them as real instruments.
Yes, so of course there was very limited time for both projects this year, both the basset horns and there was a check-on, it's a walking stick recorder. For both we had very limited time, but tried to make as close as possible to an actual instruments, so later we can, if we have the time, we can start working on it again and maybe make it playable instruments.
one of my favorite Renaissance wind instruments that I know no one makes very much is the racket. Is that
Oh
something
yeah, that's a
you wanna
nice
do?
one. Maybe someday, yes.
Yeah.
So the thing about these instruments, they are not very good with the market. So
Yeah.
it's not, you can't really sell many of them. They're not like Baroque recorders or Baroque flutes that many people play. So it's kind of, you make it for fun and maybe some people buy it too. But I want to make a racket someday. It's a really nice one. The music instrument making part is mostly my project, actually. Csenge is more in the research of historical instruments and repair of historical instruments. Mostly the repair works we do together, and everyone has their own part in it. I'm more of a setup guy. She is more for the cleaning, so which is great. Many people think that cleaning is a lower job, but it's actually not. It's probably more difficult than setting up an instrument, especially when these school instruments come in and they are in a very bad condition. So, and for repairs, it's faster to work this way because if you want do one instrument alone, it takes a lot of time. But so one does one job, the other another job, and this goes faster. If you see our videos and our Facebook pages, there's a lot of there's this project called Digital Woodwind Museum we do, where we document every instrument that comes in to us that has some sort of historical significance. Or it's an interesting instrument or just very old and in good condition, and it is mostly done by Csenge actually.
Oh, okay.
And she also not just photographs and repairs them, but does a lot of research in history and the invention of instruments and etc. These two English flutes come from a private collector. They are around 200 years old and both were made by Clementi & Co.
Hát igen, nekem a kutatás a hangszerek után. Olvastam a weboldaladon, hogy a storytelling számodra is fontos, és valami hasonló indítatásom van szerintem nekem is, hogy történeteket osszak meg, akár a hangszerek tulajdonosainak történetét, hogyha bejön ugye egy hangszer hozzánk, és azt javítani kell, de akár hogyha valamilyen módon kapcsolatba kerülünk egy-egy hangszerrel, és a közönségünk érdeklődik annak a története iránt, a készítésének története, a gyár története, akár ilyen ipartörténet iránt, stb. Illetve még van egy ilyen indítatásom, hogy a tudományos emberek, mint történészek, minden olyan elméleti területen dolgozó ember tudását egyesítsem, ami gyakorlati tudásunkkal.
So for me about making, it's really just how from a piece of wood like this, you actually make a working instrument. Many people say a work of art. I wouldn't really call it art. I lean more towards saying that a well-engineered tool. When talking about instruments, many compare them to like paintings or sculptures. I like to compare it more like to cars. I'm very interested in the science behind the instruments. What makes that piece of wood the refined instruments? So these are the instruments we make and have ready at the moment. It's this one's called a Crumhorn. It's a Renaissance instrument, and this is in a very early stage of development, we should say. It's the first one that actually makes a sound, and that didn't break while bending. Also, the staining looks kind of weird. I don't know why.
So it started from one wooden tube and you had to
Yes.
bend it slowly.
It's like
It's difficult.
this, and with steam it's bent. It has 7 holes like a recorder and 1 additional hole for tuning.
Gotcha.
And this part is really just to make a different sound, I think. It's a double reed, like somewhat like a bassoon reed.
Yeah. Do you make your
Looks.
own reeds?
Yes,
Okay, wow.
it's also made by us. So the scale needs some adjustments, but it won't sound much better. So it has this kind of sound. For the Crumhorn, I have a book about them,
A Crumhorn book.
and there are some measurements like how long this is and others, and I had to reconstruct everything from the picture there.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of a tedious process.
Oh, look. Wonderful.
Ilyen izék alapján.
So we had to base it on these pictures. There are some measurements
The
given.
Crumhorn, its history, repertory, and technique.
So you have to play it with a very soft mouth.
Not pressure.
You have to experiment maybe a bit more out.
Okay. That's fun. I like it. Yeah.
This is an aulos.
Oh.
It's an ancient Greek instrument. The 2 instruments are played at once.
At once.
Yes, it has a very primitive reed, like the modern day duduk reed. You need to wet it, play it a bit, and then let it rest. So I'm going to start to play it in.
Making these reeds must be very difficult.
Yes.
It is. I
Most.
worked about 5 years on the reeds.
Oof.
So it's yeah. Eventually. Now it has to dry a little bit. So
Okay.
give it some rest,
Yeah.
then play again. It's like this. You wet it, and it starts to make a sound, but then you have to dry it, play it again, and these are Renaissance flutes from the 16th century.
Could I pick one up?
Yeah, sure. From different makers. That's the latest one I made. It's in 415 hertz, and after Raffi, it's the same Raffi model in 440.
Okay.
It's in Apple. Probably this is the best so far. It's a bit like Irish flute. Only the high notes are different.
Oh, okay.
And this one doesn't have a really good low register.
So how many flutes do you think you've made so far?
From Renaissance flutes, I made this 7. So yeah, wanna try?
I would like to try it. Let me just try with one first.
Okay.
Okay.
Needs a lot of pressure. That's actually very good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is fun. It's really hard. I've never thought of playing an instrument with like 2 hands in this way before, so it's difficult. Why are there so many other holes if I only have one hand?
You can cover these and play different scales.
Woo. All right,
You're pretty good. Most people don't make it so far on first try, so
I've been playing oboe for a long time. And
yeah, that helps.
I have a duduk as well. So how many of these Auloses have you made?
I've made like 4 or 5 so far. I'm kind of proud of the fact that we actually still exist. I mean, it's not an easy thing, especially since 2020 in the cultural field to do such things. I'm proud of the fact that we sell some of the accessories we made all around the world, from the US to Japan, and it's really, I have a lot of things I'm proud of. I can't really name just one that was the pinnacle of my career so far. Also, I think we have a lot before us, so it's kind of difficult to say.
Én a mostani időkig inkább háttérben dolgoztam ezekkel a kutatásaimmal, nem volt publikálva sehol, csak maximum ilyen kis Facebook, Instagram posztok formájában. Ezért még így nem tudok mondani egy olyan óriási projektet, amit így meg tudnék nevezni, amire így büszke vagyok, de az elkövetkezendő időkben szerintem valamilyen módon publikálni fogom, akár YouTube videók, akár hosszabb írásos formában.
It's very difficult to work in this field right now, and especially if you're young and you have no name, you have to build up a name. There are a lot of tools like social media and everything, but it's also very cluttered now, so not easy to stand out of the crowd. As for instrument repair, it's like you said, a dying art, but one that is needed. So you will always need people to do that, and there are fewer. Like, I think in our age, we are in our early 30s. There are no other serious workshops here in Hungary who do this at this age. There are some who work in other workshops, but even then, very few.
Én megértem, hogyha valaki ebbe így teljesen egyedül nem kezd bele. Rettenetesen nagy elhivatottság kell, hogy ne csak egy ilyen fellángolás legyen.
Yeah, for us it was a very good thing that we could start it the two of us. It was easier, both in terms of work and support.
Én mindenképpen a kutatás irányába, ha kell, akár szívesen tanulnék organológiát, akár Európa valamely városában.
There's a spider centipede there.
Oh, that's fun.
We kind of like them. They keep the bugs away. So.
What fun?
No. I wish to go more towards making instruments and find an international market for that, because I am really starting to get to know people, both musicians and other makers, and it's a really good and engaging community. And
as Márton and Csenge continue their work, they're keeping a unique musical heritage alive. In a field with fewer and fewer young craftspeople, they're proving that these rare ancient instruments still have a place in our world, one carefully crafted sound at a time. I am currently releasing new episodes on the 1st and 15th of every month, so please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching!